very rewarding. But that being said, yeah, there's a little bit of not fear, but there's a little bit of like, I'd say more of like, anxiousness to the unknown whenever you first deploy. But really, man, I mean, was I scared? Was I worried? No. Did I think about, I may not come back? I mean, that's not how we operate.
Hey man,
What's up, brother? How are you?
can you hear me? All good?
I hear you living with Charlie, man. How you hear me?
Amazing, amazingly good. How's it going?
Awesome. Good, bro. Good.
Very, very good. So I'm so happy to do this with you. For those who are maybe checking in from the US and don't know anything about All Out, let me quickly pitch All Out, so that everybody knows what we're doing. So our mission, our why is just to help people unleash their full potential, and not only people, but also companies. And going from that, I just quickly need to tell everybody that actually it's not that I texted you on Instagram or something like that. Like, we actually know each other. Like, we
Yes.
actually met. I think that's something that people need to know, that actually, I think Charles is already in the chat. If you're in there, Charles, just give us like thumbs up or something like that. So actually, we met at his bachelor party last year, where he invited me to come to San Diego and celebrate with him. And I think you guys know each other from high school or something like that, right?
Yeah. Before that thing, I think we were in middle school together even. But yeah, we really got close in like freshman year of high school, and we're friends all the way through high school. And then throughout the Navy, and he was doing his thing in college, and I was in the military. We were texting and kind of keeping up here and there. But
Right.
yeah, I've known Chuck over, I mean, 15 years maybe, long
That's
time.
that's amazing, man. This is how it works, right? And then obviously we met and we party a little bit together, and then but
Yeah.
we didn't really speak to each other that deep. And then when I started the whole thing with All Out and all the talks on Sunday, I was like, man, like, can you connect me to Aaron, because I need to speak with him. Like people need to listen to his story and everything. So for today, just to give the people a little bit of a forecast. So we're gonna talk about your background, obviously, and then how to become a Navy SEAL, and maybe if this was your dream like forever. And then we're gonna talk about the whole training, about training, how week and everything. And then we're gonna go deeper into you being in the army and going into war, and how you deal with leadership, with mental toughness, with mindset and everything. And then at the very, very end, we're going to talk about something which for me is one of the biggest things that you can talk about. It's the whole slogan that goes with discipline equals freedom, which is very big for you and also for me. And I'm really looking forward to that. So thank you for being here, and welcome, man.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a true honor.
Thank you so much. So tell the people a little bit about you, like where you're from, your background, and everything.
All right, man. Yeah. So starting out, was born in Texas. So I'm from a town called Keller. It's about 30 minutes north of downtown Fort Worth. So North Texas. Graduated high school in 2005. Went to the Navy. Since I was probably 7 or 8 years old, I've always wanted to do this, this path in life. I always wanted to do military. I knew that I wanted to be in the water. My dad had me scuba diving at a very early age, probably 10, 11 years old. I was breathing underwater, like, man, this is really cool. So the whole military, being a warrior, defending the weak, fighting the wicked thing kind of meshed together, I guess, very well with the underwater stuff. And that kind of led me to the SEAL side of the house versus like Green Beret or any other branch. And that has evolved more through high school and middle school, reading the books, stuff like that. Started doing more research, and probably I want to say 6th, 7th grade was when I really sealed the deal with like Navy SEAL, and
Gotcha.
I went that route. And unfortunately, I wasn't first time every time. I broke both my legs my first time at BUDS, which is basic underwater demolition SEAL school.
Gotcha.
Joined the Navy, did all that, went through BUDS, took me twice, and then I went to the fleet after I broke both my legs. I broke my right femur and my left and right tibia and fibia in both legs.
Shit. So
Yeah.
when was that? Like in which kind of week was that you broke like your both legs?
So that was the third week, I believe, third or fourth week. It was the week before Hell Week. It was in first phase.
I got
So
you.
it was very, very early on. And I got sent to a ship, did that for about a year, about 13 months, came back, started again. And
Yeah.
I actually ended up getting swine flu the second time, and I got rolled, but I didn't get dropped. So made
Got
it through
you.
training. I checked into SEAL Team 8, I want to say in late 2009, early 2010. And yeah, was there for right at 5 years.
All right. So we're gonna come back to that injury in just a second because I think this is very, very interesting. So just take us through like what BUD really is, like the basic underwater demolition thing, and if everybody needs to go through that, and then take us through the Hell Week that happens within BUD, and like how long does it take and everything. Just give us like some details.
Absolutely. So the way to break it down, I know we only have 1 hour on here, so I'm trying to I mean, my story literally could take hours to tell. I did a podcast recently, and we were I think 2.5 hours, and
I saw that.
and we had to stop, So real quick, to break SEAL training down, you have 6 months of BUDS, right? Basic underwater demolition SEAL school, and then after you graduate BUDS, you go to what's called SEAL qualification training, SQT, and that's about another 6 months. When you graduate that, you get pinned your actual SEAL trident, and you go to a SEAL team.
Gotcha.
So within BUDS, you have 3 phases: first phase, second phase, third phase. Each phase is about 2 months. And first phase is where you basically just it's the real selection. It's when you're basically just getting beat up. You're doing personnel inspections, uniform, barracks inspections. You're doing all of your physical stuff, all the runs, the swims. You're getting beat down a lot. And when I mean beat down, I don't mean like physically beat down, but like push-ups and stuff like that,
Gotcha.
And you're doing like, log PTs, and you're doing all the boat stuff, which is actually how I broke my legs.
Yeah.
And, you're doing all the like the super physical stuff. There's no guns, there's no diving, there's none of that. And then second phase is the actual dive phase. So that's whenever they, drown you-ish. You do all your like pool stuff, and you learn how to basically scuba dive, and how to do closed circuit as well. And then third phase is your land warfare, demolition, weapon stuff. So that's where you learn very, very, very basic level of like shooting, moving, communicating, demolition a little bit. And you start learning more of the actual job, and then you graduate, and then SQT is like a little mini pre-deployment workup. So you do all your stuff from CQC, which is close quarter combat, to land warfare, weapons, demo, diving, jumping. You go through jump school. You do SEER school. You go to cold weather conditioning mountaineering school, rappelling. Like, you learn all the skills, but in like little blocks. And then when you graduate, you go to your SEAL team, and then hopefully if you hit your SEAL team in the right time of the year, you'll do a full workup with them, which is about 12 to 18 months of more training, and then you finally deploy with your SEAL team.
Got you. So what's the
quick breakdown?
Like there were now a lot of weeks and everything. So from day one, but to like, hey, I'm ready to get deployed. Like what are we talking about? Like, how many months are there?
You're looking at anywhere from 2 to 2.5 years. So sometimes guys get really lucky when they graduate SQT. They check into their SEAL team, and then their SEAL team, like, they're about to like actually deploy.
Gotcha.
They might be there 2 or 3 months, and then they might get deployed.
Yeah,
that's cool because you're going right on deployment, but you're missing all of that workup.
Right.
Or if you hit it right, the commands try to send BUD students or graduating students to a SEAL team that's just getting back from deployment, so that way they have time to do a full workup and really integrate in with their platoon and their team, and develop those relationships and rapport, and the guys can trust them overseas. Trust is obviously a very, very big thing over there.
Right.
If you don't even know the guy and he's brand new, like, you don't really know how you can trust him and stuff like that. So having those 18 months pre-deployment to really integrate with your team is always beneficial. But then again, it's just pros and cons. It's also cool to get deployed right after you graduate. Like, heck yeah, I'm going right overseas. That's cool too.
Right.
It just depends where you land, but yeah, minimum it could be a year and a half to about 2.5 years
Yeah.
before you ever
All
even
right.
employ.
All right. There was just a question dropping in, so we can just take that one. Like,
Absolutely.
how do you get the sign? Like how I said, can you choose, or do they say, look, Aaron, like that's your team, like go for it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can kind of choose, and you can kind of, if you're not careful, choose wrong. That's what I did. So I want to say when you're in third phase, and so keep in mind, all this information I'm giving, this is all whenever I went through Buds, in 2009. So
Got you.
Since I've gotten out in the last 5 years, a lot of movies and books and stuff have been written and made and all that, so the actual selection has gone way up. So there's a lot of more people that actually want to become SEALs now.
Sure.
Good and bad, right? We won't get into that conversation, but yeah. So now, where were we? So now,
so you're the assignment. Like how do you get
yes.
assigned?
So I want to say it's in third phase of Buds. You get to do what's called a dream sheet. So what that is you get 3 choices. Like if I got to pick, I would choose here, here, or here.
Gotcha.
And then most of the time they like stick with like whatever it is that you want, but not always. So for me, I was all about West Coast. My personality is more like surfing, down to earth.
I got
hey,
that.
what's up, guys?
I got that.
Right? Whenever you and I met, we were in Pacific Beach, California, and
yes,
like, I was in my element, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's just personality difference. It's not, better or worse. There's pros and cons of East Coast, West Coast. Different people have different personalities. Me being from Texas, you would think that'd be more of a East Coast type personality, just like the whole hunting, fishing, like guy from the South kind of thing. But I wasn't. I was more of a West Coast guy, personality type. So I had West Coast on my actual dream sheet. Well, a good buddy of mine that I went to high school with, that I actually went into Buds with, he graduated a little bit before me because whenever I broke both my legs and got rolled, we were in the same class. He actually graduated. I got rolled.
Gotcha.
I actually got dropped. So whenever I came back through the second time, he was already at his SEAL team in Virginia Beach. Yeah. So he talked me out of West Coast, man. He's like, hey, man, I just get back from sniper school. East Coast is awesome. You need to come. Like, you can be my roommate, He talked me out of it. So then I went and switched from West Coast on my dream sheet to my East Coast team. Like, and I was just East Coast. I didn't care which team. And I got there, man. I was there about 3 months, and I was like, I made a mistake. Like, this is not for me. I just personality differences is too much. It's just not my jam. But it is what it is, man. Everything happens for a reason, I think. And
sure,
that was my career. So
all right. So that's cool. So let's go a little bit more into like the training first of all, and let's go into Hell Week. Just in a nutshell, like. What's Hell Week? Like how much hell is it really?
Just enough to push you past your mental bounds. So to me, if I had to put it in one sentence, and the whole objective, purpose, and point of Hell Week is to rewire your brain. And it's to push your brain past where it thinks it can go. And how they do that, the medium that is done through is pain and suffering, right? So that is the best medium for learning as a human being, in my opinion, to date, right? Is pain. Yeah. When you go through pain, that's what is going to teach you the most.
Right.
So pushing your body and your mind past the point which where you think that you can go. We all have that limit where we think, like, that's about as far as I can go. That's as fit as I am, or that's as mental tough as I am, or strong as I am. The whole point of that is it doesn't matter if you're the fittest guy in the class, the fastest swimmer, fastest runner, or the slowest. Hell Week is going to push everyone, no matter of your physical fitness level, past that point to where you think that you can go, and then you keep going some more, and then you keep going some more. And at the end of that week, you're like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I completed that. Like, it just makes you it just rewires your brain, makes you mentally tougher and stronger, and it really puts yourself post Hell Week. It's really weird. You have this euphoric feeling like there's nothing on this planet that I can't do. If I want to be
is it really like that? Is it really like? Is it like, or was it at that time like the hardest, toughest thing you have ever done?
At that time, it was.
Yeah.
At that time, it definitely pushes you physically past the point where you ever think that you could be, and then you keep going, and it just teaches you, and it's like, man, I really can do more than my mind thinks that I can. It's just about pushing and never quitting, never giving up.
I love that. So Hell Week, as I understand, it's about week 4 or something like that of buds, right?
So it varies from class to class, but it's either the 4th or 5th week.
All right. So how hard is it to even get to Hell Week? Like the first like 3 weeks, like how hard is it, and how many people just drop out before you get to that ultimate like mindset kind of thing?
It's definitely tough, man. There's a lot of guys that don't even make it to that level, but you know, there's such a big selection. And even now, in the last, I'd say 3 to 5 years, since all the competition has gone up quite a bit, again, due to all the I'll say publicity to all the SEAL teams with the movies and the books and all that, you know. A lot more people want to do it now. So traditionally, you would go to boot camp, you would go to A school and pick an actual job. In the event that you didn't make it, then you can always revert back to your job. That was never I went through. In the last couple of years, they've actually switched it up now to where you go to Navy boot camp and then you go straight to buds. Or you have pre-buds, but you don't even pick a rate anymore. You just go to buds, and then if you make it, cool. And if you don't make it, then you pick a rate, and you go do that rate in the Navy. Rate.
Got you.
All rate means in the Navy. It's a Navy word for job. So you just pick your rate, pick your job. We always say choose your rate, choose your fate. You know, because however good or bad your fate's going to be is the job that you pick. So yeah, that's how that works. You do that, and then you go through. And boot camp's normal, and then you get into pre-buds. That's about anywhere, you know, again, class to class varies, but it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. I think my pre-buds was like 5 or 6 weeks. And that's, you basically run, swim, PT, workout. You do all this stuff every day, all day long, prepping you for buds. Then you show up to buds, and they call it, I think now they call it BO, buds orientation. We just call it NDOC. But that's another 2 or 3 weeks, basically getting you checked into the system, to the command, do all your medical stuff. You learn how to run the O course. You learn how to do log PT. You learn how to do boats, how to stow the boats, and how to, you know, do the oars. And you learn all the rules of like buds. You learn how to do buds. And then you start, then you phase up, and then you have the first 3 weeks. And I know day 1, week 1 is like you're waking up at like 3 in the morning because you have a PT at like, I think 4:30 or 5 a.m. You work out, you hit the surf, you get beat a little bit. Then you run to chow, and where the actual galley is, I've heard horror stories of it being on the same base. So there's no more running to chow, but I don't think that's true anymore. They still have to run to chow and run back. That's a 2-mile run per meal. So you run a mile, eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and run a mile back. So you're running 6 miles a day just to eat. You know? When you come back, then you have your 4-mile timed run. You have a PIBI, which is a personnel inspection and a barracks inspection. And if you fail any of those, then you're going to get, you know, push-ups and hit the surf. When I say beat down, I don't want people to think that like you're getting like physically punched in the face.
Right.
Yeah, you're getting PT'd, you know.
All right.
So yeah, there's actually quite a bit of steps even before you even get to Hell Week. And then go ahead.
So here's my question. Let me ask you one question. Like, so you went to, like, the first time you went to like 3 weeks of butt, and then you broke your legs, right? And then you had to come back. Like, did you have to redo everything from the beginning, from the first day? So here's my question, and this is where I wanted to point at one. How is that mentally, knowing where you're gonna go through for the next 3 weeks, because you already did it, and you know I have to go through the same shit one more time. I know what's coming. Like, how hard is it to get mentally prepared that you know it's going to be such a pain, but I have to go through it because this is where I want to go. Like, this is my dream. This is my goal. This is where I want to go. How's that?
I mean, it was that or quit, that or give up, that or never achieve my dreams, never achieve my goals. And that was never an option for me. When I told myself the whole way through, even the first time, the only way I'm leaving this compound, the only way I'm leaving this base without a trident on my chest is either on a stretcher or with a trident on my chest. It's the only 2 ways I'm leaving. And the first time I left, not on a stretcher, but I was on crutches, you know. I had 2 broken legs, so that sucked. I remember the day I was probably 19. I think I was 19 years old. I was crying, literally tears streamed down my face, crushed dreams, you know. I went to a ship, but I remember telling myself, I'm going to be back. I'm going to heal my legs up. I'm going to get fixed, and, you know, and then I'll be back. And my second time there, the motivation of being on the ship in the regular Navy for 13 months, that was plenty of, you know, motivation for me not to go back to the fleet.
Gotcha.
but yeah, it was never an option for me to like, well, I don't want to do it again. It was either I'm leaving on a stretcher or with a trident on my chest. That's the only two ways that I'm leaving.
So that's a very, very crazy thing that I think that people can really take away. It's that, so if you set up your goal, if you have your vision and you set your goals, no matter what happens, no matter if you got like broken legs, whatever it is, you just go back to it and you just do the work. You just do it because it's your goal, it's your vision, and that's the promise you made to yourself. You made yourself the promise that I'm gonna do whatever it takes. So you did whatever it took, right? I mean,
You gotta put
that's
the work
big.
in.
That's huge.
You know, people think that like whenever, and there's a common quote that I've heard on motivational videos, and I listen to moto videos just about every morning. I'm sure my family's probably tired of hearing them by now, but I'm always listening to like YouTube motivational, and it's always playing in the background because you have to keep that fire burning, you know? And it's something that I always hear, that people always think that whenever you set out to accomplish a goal or a dream, that's going to be a straight line. And it's not. As soon as you decide in your mind, this is what I want, this is the goal that I want, this is the life that I want to live, the line gets all squiggly. You know, and there's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be setbacks. Sometimes you have to take 2 or 3 steps back to step forward, you know, and that's going to be normal. It doesn't matter what you do, lawyer, doctor, military, if you want to be wealthy, if you want to be a businessman, it doesn't matter, whatever, you know, be a mom, be a dad, whatever you want to do in life, there's always going to be those obstacles. They're going to set you back. You have to have the discipline, we'll get to that later, right? And the fortitude to push past those obstacles, even though it's a squiggly line and you're going back and forth and backwards and left and right to try to get to your goal. You got to do whatever it takes. You have to, because you don't have any other option. Like, what's the other option? You don't make it.
Yeah.
You don't achieve your goal. That has to be non-negotiable to you. It has to be, you know, unacceptable that it's either I achieve my goal, I achieve my dream, and I live the life that I want to live, or I don't. And not living your life cannot be an option. It's not. It's just not. Death or win. That's it.
I fucking love that. Like, I actually got goosebumps. Like, no shit. This is like where we're going right now. This is, holy shit. That's awesome. So let's leave like Bud and Hell Week and the training behind us. Now you get deployed and you basically go into war. So what is that, going into war? And I guess as a Navy SEAL, you go there, like, you don't know if you're going to come back or not. I mean, I can imagine that your mission, it's like, you know, like you go, you do your stuff. You don't know if you're going to see your family again. Like how is that? Like, especially like the first time, like, how's the feeling to go there? Maybe also talk about you maybe being like a patriot and really also maybe want to do it for your country. Maybe that's also like a big thing for you. Like, talk about it. Talk about your why. Why are you doing this? Like,
so everyone has a different reason. I've talked to, you know, I mean, so many different SEALs that have different reasons. It's for their country, for themselves, for the brotherhood, for their families, because they're patriots. You know, I would argue the fact that most guys don't have just one reason. They have, you know, there are those few guys that just want to be a SEAL for one reason, but most of us want to do it for multiple different reasons. I would like to say that a lot of it is because we are patriots and we want to we want to be at the tip of the spear, making a big difference. We want to see the difference that we make, and you don't always get to see that, but when you do, it's very, very, you know, it's very rewarding. But that being said, yeah, there's a little bit of, not fear, but there's a little bit of, like, I'd say more of like, you know, anxiousness to the unknown whenever you first deploy. But really, man, I mean, was I scared? Was I worried? No. Did I think about, I may not come back? I mean, that's not how we operate. Again, I can't speak for everyone,
gotcha.
But that's not, you don't think about that. If it happens, it does, man. If it happens, then we're going to Valhalla. You know, It's like we died a soldier's death. We died a warrior's death. And to me, it's like I can die a warrior's death, or I can die like in my bed when I'm 80. That'd be cool. I'll get to live a full life and see my family and see my kids' and see grandkids, all that, you know. But if I don't, like, would I rather die in like and speaking on death, I know this is something that we don't really often talk about. This isn't a very big narrative that people discuss. But if I had to pick to die in battle or to die like in like a car wreck, like a car wreck's pointless. Like I died in a car wreck, really? Like that's what my life culminated to?
I got you.
I would much rather die in combat, you know,
Yeah.
but I'd much rather die when I'm older, you know, and
Yeah,
live a full
yeah,
life.
yeah.
I don't want to die, but if I have to for a brother or for this country, in
Yeah.
a heartbeat, without even thinking twice, you know, and that's something that, to answer your question, you know, what's the feeling whenever you deploy? Are you scared? Are you thinking about, you know, you may never come home? We don't, I mean, I always kiss my family goodbye. I kiss my kids, and I'll, you know, like some of us maybe write letters, you know, that like in the event.
Yeah.
That
Did you
we
ever
may
do that?
have
Did you
someone
ever
deliver
do that?
letters. I did.
Did you?
When I was younger, I did.
All right.
But to be honest, man, no, really not. I mean, we're excited. We're chomping at the bit, foaming at the mouth, like, send me over there, send me, you know.
Yeah.
There's a biblical reference, you know, it's like, here am I, send me.
Yeah.
And that's how we always are, like, just deploy us, use us, send me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're multi-million-dollar walking weapons. We've gone through years of training, like, send me to
I love
war,
that.
send me, you know.
I love that.
So no, I wouldn't say that there's this massive overlooming fear that like we may never see our family. We want to go, and if I have to die in battle, I don't want to, but if I have to, I'm going to Valhalla, and I died as a patriot protecting freedom. And that's something that I'll give my life for. I'll fall on the sword for any day of the fucking week. Is for this country, for the red, white, and blue, and for my family. There, you have to have things that you're willing to die for, and something that as a small child, my dad always told me was, if there's nothing that you wouldn't give your own life for, you don't deserve to live. And I always took that to heart. I'm like, damn, like, so to deserve a wonderful life, quality life worth living, you have to have a few things. Maybe it's only one thing. Maybe it's 2 or 3 things. For me, it's 3 or 4 things. You have to have something that you're willing to fall on the sword for at any minute. This country, our freedom, and my family, those are 3 big ones.
I totally agree. It's like listening to a motivational speech for like 27 minutes now. It's like it's really good. So let's talk about you being on the battlefield, and let's talk a little bit about what is happening there, and maybe also about leadership. And then we're gonna translate the whole military thing to you as a person, you as a civilian, and everything. So the thing we spoke about yesterday on the phone, because we spoke to each other yesterday to talk about the interview. So if you're on the battlefield and then your commander, your boss comes up to you and he goes like, hey, look, Aaron, like, we got the mission. We need to be ready in 5 hours. Like how is that with your team? Are you like totally pumped up? Are you like, hey, let's go in there? Or is it like a little bit more of also like discipline and just get your stuff ready, check your weapons, and just be like, maybe also visualize the whole scenery. If you know you have to go into a house, you may be going to visualize you going into the house and what could happen, go through all these scenarios and everything. Like, can you just take us like through the process?
Dude, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Everything you just said, actually, it's pretty funny that you said all that. That's actually fairly spot on. So we are motivated. We're all like, hell yeah, we have an op. Like, we're super pumped. And then there is that getting all of our gear ready, right? Weapons, comms, nods, making sure all our gear is squared away, going through all the checkpoints that we have to do. So without giving away too much info of the inner workings of a SEAL team while deployed, we all come together. There's a big meeting, and then we all talk about, hey, look, guys, this is the op. This is what we need. This is what we're doing, and we basically go through everything. All from complete start to finish, from us, you know, inserting, doing the full mission, and then leaving, and then getting home safe. We have a meeting for that.
Gotcha.
And going into that, you know what your personal role is, what your responsibility is. You know what your fire team and your platoon's responsibilities are. So there's that timeline, whether it's 1 hour, 3 hours, 5 hours. Every mission set is different, but you have that time. You are getting squared away. You're getting gear ready. You're talking to your boys. You know, you're making sure everything's good to go.
Right.
At the same time with that, you know, there's a few things that you learn throughout training. Mental visualization, breathing. So yes, depending on whatever the actual op is, you're doing your box breathing, right? 4-4-4 we call. So you're breathing.
So what's that? Can you explain what's that? Because you're just saying it because you have done it for multiple years, but people have never heard of it. Just take us through that, because I think that's something that people could really use. I know what you're talking about, but I want the people to understand what you're talking about.
So yoga helps, meditation helps, but really it's just breathing. And currently, like what I do now for a living is I train people, civilians, law enforcement, and certain military groups how to shoot and how to drive and different tactical stuff. You know, small unit tactics. But primarily, I teach rifle, pistol on a flat range, and it's primarily to civilians and law enforcement. One of the biggest things that I tell people is just breathe, man. People get so worked up and so nervous they forget to breathe, and that's normal. It's nothing bad. It's normal for the untrained person. Just breathe, you know. So what we tell people is you want to breathe in for 4 seconds, pause for 3 or 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, pause 3 or 4 seconds.
Gotcha.
It's a box, right? 4, 4, 4, 4. So you're pausing, right? So that's just a simple breathing technique that we learn, honestly, in first phase, because remember, you're doing all your pull skills. Typically, you're holding your breath, you're underwater tying knots, or you're doing drown proofing where they tie your hands and feet. They tie your hands behind your back and they throw you in the deep end, and you got to do a bunch of different stuff for like 20 minutes-ish. And then, you know, you're doing the underwater 50-meter, you're doing a lot of stressful stuff on very, very low oxygen. And basically seeing how you react to that. So one of the ways that you prep for that, whether it's a run or a swim or public speaking, or you're and how this can translate to all of your actual listeners, whether you're giving a speech at work or you're in an interview or you're about to do something that's making you nervous and giving you all those physiological effects of your palms start to sweat, your heart rate goes up, your adrenaline's going up, your cortisol spike, all this stuff is happening. You just slow it down and just breathe, right? Do what we call in the SEAL teams is box breathing. It'll really calm you down, and it helps stabilize all of your hormones that are all going crazy and all the chemicals in your brain. It really helps, stabilize that. So just breathing and then visualization. So you have interior and then you have exterior visualization, and how you do that. I'm trying to talk kind of fast and save time. We only have 30 minutes left, but how you do that is whenever you meditate, and meditation doesn't have to be some yoga Zen master in a yoga room, like kind of stuff.
I get you, yeah.
You could be sitting there in line or right outside of your potential future boss's door for an interview, and you're meditating right there. All you're doing is you're going to meditate on you internal and then both external. So you can mentally close your eyes, mentally visualize your being inside of your own body, going through the process that you're about to go through.
Right.
So we can all agree that the more repetitions that you get for something, the better that you get, right? Perfect practice makes perfect. Not practice, perfect practice makes perfect, right?
Right.
So the more that you see things, the more that you rehearse, the more iterations that you do of anything, the better that you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
So if you go into something and you've already visualized it 10 times, 20, 30, 40, 100 times, then your body and your brain, and they've done tons of like scientific research and study on this, your brain doesn't know any difference. If you're meditating doing it and then you go and do it in the real world, your brain barely knows any difference between that. So if you internally visualize yourself doing something, being in that interview, being on that pool deck because you're in SEAL training, or you're in Ranger school, or you're starting your own business and you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to get a copyright for something, or you're talking to your attorney and whatever it is that you're doing. If you rehearse that and you visualize yourself doing it from within inside of your own body and you see everything from your own point of view, that's called internal. And there's also external, which is where you're visualizing, seeing yourself from outside of yourself, seeing yourself walk through those things and do those things. If you do both of those, and you visualize yourself inside of your own body and then also outside of your own body, watching yourself go through the process. If you're a soccer player or you're a football player and you can see yourself running and like juking and scoring that touchdown or hitting that home run or whatever it is that you do. If you're one of Chuck's guys and you're running and you're in the Olympics or whatever, and you can visualize yourself, see yourself running, and then also see yourself from within your own eyes, you can see the track, and break it down, guys. Get as minute as you possibly can. What's the temperature outside? Are you sweating? Where's the wind? What's it smell like? What are the sounds? What's the feeling you have on the inside of yourself? What's, like break down that exact environment in your brain as much as you possibly can. So when you're actually there, you've already been there 100,000 times.
This
before you
is
ever even set foot there.
so huge. So is it all things that you learned with the Navy, like with the Seas, or is it also something that you learned now because you're also in like the whole personal development thing and everything? Or is it really something that you really learned in training?
It's a little bit of both. So
Gotcha.
mostly you learn the box breathing in training, and they
Mm,
briefly touch on like visualization and like breathing, and not like yoga and meditation. Big Alpha Hard Navy SEALs don't talk too much about spiritual
got you.
yoga
I
meditation
got
stuff.
you.
They do now, but whenever I went through, it was a little bit harder. Not
Yeah.
harder physically, but just harder mindset. They didn't really go
Yeah.
into that too much. Now they're being a lot more open minded on like meditation and visualization and yoga
Right.
and being mentally and spiritually there too, which is good. But when I went through, I've always been a fairly spiritual person, so I would always research like yoga and meditation, and I did yoga prior to Buds when I was in high school and stuff, even and going through training. But yeah, they do talk to you quite a bit about visualizing yourself going through Buds, going through training, and breathing properly, and then so mostly that mixed with my own experiences in life of yoga and
Yeah.
visualization and all that. I just kind of mixed it, and I always used it then. I used it in the SEAL teams. I use it now in business as a civilian, as a contractor. I
Yeah.
still use it today.
Uh, I love that. And this is
I visualize
so,
this.
this is so huge content. And I mean, that's such a fun thing because when I started the whole like Sunday talks and even now, like people ask me like the feedbacks are always like very, very good. And then they ask me how can do that because like I didn't study like how to talk to people. And I go like, well, the thing is that the moment I talk to somebody live, that talk have been in my mind for 20 times. I run it for 20 times to my mind.
Absolutely.
So I
You're already
run the
doing it.
question. I run the question to my mind. I run the possible answer to my mind. I run my answers on your answers to my mind and everything. And I think this is huge. And I think people in sports know about it, but I think just people like in business and like civilian, they just don't know about it like enough. And this is what I want to talk about on those Sundays. This is why I have politicians, I have entrepreneurs, I have business leaders, I have sports stars, I have Navy SEALs, because in the end, trust me, they all speak about the same thing. Like it's all the same thing. And this is huge.
Absolutely.
So
The
that's
highest
great.
performers, the very highest performers in the world, military, sports, business, entrepreneurship, the people that are the most successful, whenever they go do something for the first time, they've already done it 100,000 times.
Yeah,
If you're going into
100%.
a business meeting with like with an investor, and you've already gone, I'm going to ask this question, and if he says this, or if he says that, or if she asks me this question, or if she says this, I'm going to say this, and knowing that so that you can be super efficient and be on top of your game, the best people in the world do that. Whether they
I love
realize it
that.
or not, they're already doing it. You
I
already
love
did,
that. I
you
love
know?
that. I love that. I love that. So, right before, like in the beginning of the work of the talk, you said that when you did like Hell Week, it was the hardest thing you ever did
At the times.
at the time. So now, what was the hardest thing you have ever done today?
Transition. Oh man, that's a loaded question. A couple things. I'd say probably transitioning from the military to civilian. That was tough. Learning how to not lose who I am at my core. I mean, being a SEAL is in your blood. When you live a
Mm,
life like that, it really becomes who you are. But at the same time, like I ride this line between like that was just a job. It was a stepping stone to the next biggest thing in my life.
gotcha.
But it also becomes like who you are in your blood too. Like those are the same qualities that you take away from that when you step away from that. The hardest thing I think is being a good man for your family, being a father. I have two little girls, and
I love
watching them
that.
grow, and they're at the age now where they're going into high school. When
I
they're
love
in
that.
single digits, that's different, but when they start getting a little bit older, it's like the game changes, you know?
Yeah.
And I just dealt with a massive, massive blow to my family. Don't really want to go into it right now, but a huge, huge loss. And learning how to be there for family during that's been tough. Doing the right thing, being the man that my family needs me to be. Transitioning from the military to civilian life, that was tough. And and probably the biggest thing for me is more going to be mental. Learning how to be more of a stoic and learning how to think differently
Mm.
to, as I grow older and as time kind of passes me by, I guess, learning how to leave a legacy for people after I'm gone, how to make this world better after I'm gone, so that whenever I'm gone, my family, my kids, my grandchildren can look back and be like, because of what he did, because of the choices and decisions he made, the discipline that he lived with, this world is better because he was here.
This,
And I still feel kind of young. I mean, I just turned 34 2 months ago, and I think maybe I shouldn't be thinking about that in my 30s, but I find myself thinking about that quite a bit. Like, how can I make decisions today that's going to leave a legacy for my family after I'm gone?
oh, I
You know,
love that.
how can this world be better because I was here? How can I affect the most change to the most amount of people possible?
Yeah.
And that's something that weighs heavy on my mind quite a bit.
I love that. I mean, this is huge. And so we also talked about that yesterday, like just quite a little bit, like with everything that you have done, like in your life, like as a Navy SEAL, as a contractor and everything you went to, from mental toughness with your mindset and everything. Do you think that it somehow made you a better person just because you can?
Absolutely.
So why is that? Why is that? Can you just throw in some example?
So I'd say that all of the failures are what made me better, you know, and not the successes and the victories of becoming a SEAL is what made me better. The losses that I took, the failures that I'll say achieved, because that's an achievement, right? Having a
Yeah,
failure makes you better. Like, whenever I fail, I
right.
can fail my way all the way to the freaking top, you know?
Yeah,
So I look at that as like, I won those. I earned those failures, because those are, every single failure that I have is a lesson learned, and it's me getting better. You know, that's what's teaching me, is all those failures. So I think the failures are what I really look to and are what really made me better, you know, and being a SEAL, yeah, there's a lot of lessons learned. There's a lot of qualities that you become as a man doing that job. I mean, hard work, determination, perseverance, sacrifice, duty, service, honor, integrity. It just, the list goes on and on and on. But really, the truth is in the failure, and that's what's going to make you better, is climbing those mountains, you know, and knowing that this is just a stepping stone. You know, every experience for every person, especially for being a SEAL, going through SEAL training, and then even doing your deployments, and then just doing your time in the teams. Um, a lot of SEALs have a lot of different experiences, and the SEAL teams are so unique. It would take more time than we have right now to go into depth about the intricacies of the team, personality wise, and the dynamic. It's such a complicated dynamic, personality wise, because the type of person that it takes to achieve that, to be that, you got to be a little bit crazy. You're not,
yeah,
like, none of us are, no SEAL's really normal, you know, and we are a little bit crazy to do that job. And then you have this
sure.
alpha personality type male, and we're all together all day long, all year round. So there's a lot of clashes, and there's a lot of good things, a lot of bad things, and learning how to navigate that, learning how to play the game a little bit, you know, takes some time. And then you look back after you leave the teams, and it's like, I could have done a lot of things different. I could have done a lot of things better. I'm happy
Yeah,
that I did this right, that I did that right. I'm happy that I had these failures to learn from, you know. But for me, it was knowing that it was a stepping stone, and it taught me, really, the failures that I had in the SEAL teams taught me how to be who I am today, and it really built me up and gave me the strength and fortitude to be the man that I am today. So I
I
am
got it.
grateful for those, you know. Yeah, man, I could talk for, on that for a while.
That's all right. So we have about 10 minutes left. And so we're gonna hit the topic that I brought up like in the beginning. And I think that can be huge for people. So we both listen to Jocko Willing, and I know that Chuck also
Love that
listens to
man.
him and reads about him. Like if you don't know about that guy, like, you can Google him. It's Jocko Willing. He's a former Navy SEAL. He's a speaker. He's just a great guy about leadership and discipline and everything. So he puts out the quote. He also wrote a book about it, which is called "Discipline Equals Freedom." And if you go on to Aaron's Instagram, at the top, it's going to be written "Discipline Equals Freedom." So what I think is amazing about it is that for most people, they think that being disciplined will take away freedom and not add it. I am a huge believer in discipline, and I'm a huge believer in performance. So what does that mean for you? Like, discipline equals freedom. Take us through that. What does that mean for you?
So I heard a quote recently, and I really, really liked it, and it was, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. And I really like that. It really hit me because, I can't imagine people would say discipline takes away freedom. I mean, how? Like, being disciplined by doing what you said you were going to do in that moment, once in the mood that you set it in, once that time is long gone. That to me is truly what discipline is. Discipline is doing what you said you were going to do in a mood after that mood's long gone.
Right.
It's easy to say, oh, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go get that interview. I'm going to get that new job. I'm going to go to this school. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's easy to say that when you're pumped up and motivated and warm and cozy and full, and you just ate, you just got 8-9 hours of sleep, and you're feeling good and motivated.
Right.
Can you still have that same conviction and that same discipline when you haven't slept in 2 or 3 days and you're running on 2 hours of sleep and you're exhausted and you've worked 8-9 days straight without a break? And, can you still do that then? That's discipline. So people that, in my mind, say that discipline takes away freedom. Why? Because you don't get to go out with your friends and go party because you're going to bed early to wake up and crush things. I mean, what are your goals? Do you want to be a professional partier? There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to make your little bit of money and you're $40,000, $50,000 a year, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's okay with you. And you want to go party and spend your weekends at the club, popping bottles, like, no one can judge you for that. That is your life.
Right.
But you have to have the discipline. If you have higher goals than that, higher standards and higher expectations than that, you have to live differently. So does it take away freedom? I don't think so, because my passion is doing the things that I love, and the things that I love are what's going to push me forward. And me being lazy or not doing certain things, again, we can talk about this forever, and I digress, but discipline equals freedom. To me, what that means is that having the discipline to go to bed early and wake up early and, hydrate, water, not booze, not Coke, not things that I don't need to be putting, into my actual body, right? The right foods, not putting in junk food, doing all the things that deep down you need to do. People know. Everyone makes this so much harder than it really is. We all know deep down. Eat good food, get good sleep, right? Hydrate, take your supplements, work out, go to the gym, wake up early, go to bed early, like, live right. People know. They just don't want to have the integrity and the discipline to do what it takes to live a high performance life where they accomplish all of their goals. And then at the end of that, they want to complain, well, I didn't do this because of that, and and they're wanting to point fingers. You can't point fingers, man. Like, it's all back to you. Every decision in your life comes back to you.
So that's the thing. Like, discipline for me also, it's just don't complain, right? It's having the discipline, just not to complain. So just saying on that topic, like discipline, what does it mean for you as a parent to be disciplined?
There's times, like, for example, I got home late last night from a 2-week work trip, and I'm exhausted. I probably look at it. I'm still exhausted. I called you this morning at like noon, I'm still drinking coffee. But as a parent, man, if you get back from a trip or you get off of a long day of work, having the discipline to do what you know that you need to do as a parent. Since you specifically hit that topic about being a parent, it's easy to just give your kids some junk food or whatever's in the cabinet real quick and throw them in bed because you're tired and you want to have your drink at night and watch your TV show. Is that really doing what you need to do? Is that really going to help your legacy? Because at the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed, your children are only going to be as good as what you provided them and set them up for success in the beginning. So if it means you staying up and reading them that extra book, or giving them a bath, or getting them in, good PJs, good clean clothes, putting them in a nice bed with clean sheets, and doing all the things, even the smallest things matter, and giving them a good, loving environment to really teach them and show them that you're investing not only your time, energy, care, your thoughts, you're visualizing being a parent too.
I love that. I love that.
Doing all the little things that will guide and produce your children into becoming better people so that they can do better than what we did. Because that's the goal, right? Having children, we want them to be better than what we were. We want them to achieve more than what we achieved. So why would I not give my very best? I gave my very best to become a SEAL. Why would I not give my very best to give my children the most upper hand, the most successful characteristics and tips and tools and techniques to become better than I ever was, so that I could increase my actual legacy, right? So that they can leave a bigger impact on the world than what I did. It's all bigger picture.
I love that.
You gotta be able to fluctuate.
I love that. And people who are listening right now, and maybe they're going to watch it later, what you just said about that, like, let's say empowering your children to have what you never had and be better than you could ever be. This is not only true for your kids, this is also true for your team. Like if you're a boss, like if you're a team lead, if you're whatever you want to be in a corporate, like you can tell me whatever you want, right? Most people want to be a boss or like a team head or whatever it is for the money and for the CV and everything. But I truly believe that if you really want to become like that kind of a guy, it's to make the people around you better so that they can be better than you ever would be, you know, like really giving them. And this is for me, this is also like, this is discipline. And what you said about being a parent, this is why I asked this question, because I know that many parents are sometimes struggling about like, you know, like work life and everything. You're exhausted, and then you got home, and then your kids are, you know, they want to have the parents and everything. So what I think is important for the people to understand is that you just have to perform. Like if you're in your office and you have a job, you have to perform at your job. If you are a sports star, you have to perform as a sports star. And then when you got home, you have to perform as a parent.
Perform as a parent.
You have to have the discipline to perform as a parent. And I think this is huge. So we are nearly done with the time frame, because we will not do longer than an hour. Otherwise the Instagram will cut us. So one more thing, like, you know, like the whole topic that we do with All Out, it's all about unleashing your full potential. And everything that you said until now, it was huge. I think that I had like 50 minutes of goosebumps, like no shit. So
I could talk for days, man, on stuff like that.
So when we go into unleashing your full potential, like Aaron, like what do you think do you still have like in the tank? Like where do you want to go? What do you want to leave behind? Like what's going to be your legacy?
Well, I don't know yet, man. Right? We're always building that, aren't we?
I like that.
Overall, summing up sentence of that, man, is I really wish that I really hope that I do truly leave this place, this world, my environment, my community, my family. I hope that it's better, not only because of things that I did, but the life that I lived. I hope that I can inspire and motivate enough people, because would I rather do something by myself or with a team, right? A team's going to always get more done than one person. If I can inspire and motivate as many people as possible, they're going to create more change for this world than I ever can, right? So leaving the world better because I was here, one, but even a step above that is if I can inspire a small army of people, right, then they can leave and change this world long after I'm gone. And doing videos like this will be here forever, potentially, right? People long after I'm dead, my children, your children, anyone can go back and see this and listen to these words of wisdom. That's what's so cool today about technology with Instagram and YouTube and podcasts and all this cool stuff, is that potentially, right, 100 years from now, people will be able to get on here and listen to these words. So can I change the world? Or if I get 100 people to change the world, that's going to be 100 times X, whatever, you know, it is that I do. Looks like we have about 7 minutes left, but real quick, I wanted to touch on something that you just said about parenting. Is that how do you have something left in the tank once you've worked really hard at your own life at providing for your family? Now you get home, now you have to be a parent. Two things that I'll say on that. It's something that I teach all the time whenever I'm doing civilian law enforcement weapons training, is that the most efficient shooter is the person that has the most the best economy of motion, right? So the most efficient shooter is always going to be the best shooter, right? The least amount of moves, the least amount of movement with the most amount of effect. So with that, having your personal life squared away can make things so much easier for you. If you get home from a long day of work and your house is a wreck, your car's dirty, there's stuff all in your car, you know, the cabinets are messy and your kitchen's not clean, where you can't cook food and it's mentally cluttering your brain, and you're not going to be able to be a very good parent, right? So being able to be efficient and have systems put in place. Again, this goes back to all the top performers in the world. They have systems from everything from waking up in the morning to a cold shower. We could talk. That's a whole other conversation on like personal development with like your morning routine, evening routine. But having some kind of system put in place to where wake up, go to work, eat, your nutrition, your hydration, your whole life needs to be systems. And the quicker that you can develop systems and more efficient systems, the easier things are going to be for you. Notice how Steve Jobs and Tony Robbins and just people like that, they always wear jeans and a black shirt, black polo, black button up, black long sleeve, black short. It's black because it's less mental thought process that they have to put into getting dressed in the morning. So they have more thought process, more energy, mental energy to do the big tasks, like affecting change in the world. Not about what shirt I'm going to wear in the morning, right? So have systems that are super efficient. So when you do get home from a long day of work, you can switch gears and go into parenting and be an amazing parent and give everything you can to your children, because these systems they're all on autopilot running your life. And teamwork. If you're a single parent, that sucks. I've been there. I know how it is. But if you're not, if you have a spouse or a fiance, having teamwork, right? I have a lot of teamwork here, right? I have an entire family that they help me with my children. I have an ex-wife, she has a husband, right? A mom, dad. So having teamwork always helps. And teamwork is a whole nother topic we can talk about. And then real quick, Jocko, man, I love that guy. He's got great books. Read his stuff. Every time I start getting weak or I start kind of being a wimp, I'm like, I hear Jocko's voice, be hard, wake up. And I'm like, so you need
got you.
You need those voices in you, And I mean, corporate teamwork. There's one guy I'll say real quick. His name's Simon Sinek. He's got some multiple books. One of his books is Leaders Who Last. If you're a leader, you got to look at your team. You have to put everything you can into that team. I hate seeing corporate America and corporate businesses where the bosses only care about themselves or their profit and the numbers. They don't care about their team. You want high profit, you want high success, put your money into your team. Care about your team.
I love it.
Sorry.
I love it. So we can finish it up with one thing is just try to make everybody around you better and successful, and then you don't have to care about being successful because you're going to be successful anyways. And then the second thing is just like inspire to inspire, right? So inspire as many people you can to inspire as many people as they can. So Aaron, so let's finish it up. Like, it was amazing. Thank you so much for doing that with me. Quickly tell the people if they want to follow you, if they want to reach out to you, how can they do it? Like, where can they find you? Like,
Instagram's the easiest for me. Aaron Colter 212, Aaron Colter 212. On Instagram, shoot me a message. I can get back to you really fast.
So thank you so much. So for everybody that is listening now or will look at it later on, so we do that also for a charity organization here in Zurich, based in Switzerland. Nice. So basically, you can go onto our homepage, which is www.allout.ch. Very easy. You can find it also on our Instagram profile, and then you can go onto schedule, and then you will see a PayPal number where you can just PayPal the money that you want to donate. If you think that content was amazing, which I think it really was, and if you think it was really helpful, and we're just going to translate that amount one-on-one to the charity organization. We just have 90 seconds left. Aaron, anything you want to say in a nutshell? 30 seconds. Go as a closer.
Yeah, man. 212. My Instagram. The last number in my Instagram handle, 212. It's 212 degrees. You can Google it. It's an awesome theory. It's an awesome mindset that I love. 212 degrees is the point of boiling water. What's 211 degrees? It's just warm water. 212 degrees is boiling water, which produces steam. And steam, not so much now because of technology, but in the former era, steam is what powers the world. Steam engines, heat, it's warmth. I mean, steam powers the world. So it's that one extra degree that makes all the difference in the world, right? That one extra rep, that one extra hour up early, that one extra interview, the one extra mile that you ran, the one rep. do that one little bit of difference is what makes all the world change in your life, from living great to living just average. Is that
Love
one
it.
extra little thing that you do.
Love it. Let's finish that up. Let's go don't go the extra mile if you can, but always go the extra inch, because we can always go the extra inch, right?
Don't ever quit, man. Keep going.
That's good. All right, Aaron, thank you so much for doing this with me. It was amazing. Have a great evening, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday, enjoy your weekend, and talk to you soon.
You as well,
All
brother.
right.
Talk soon.
See you. Bye.